Hey there, comic book fans. I am back from the comic shop again this week, a little bit early, and I got 6 comics. I was actually shorted on 2 comics. There was no Mercy number 12 for me, and what was the other one? Oh, no Captain Kidd number 3. So I'll have to get them when they get them in next week, the week after, whenever Diamond deems to fit to ship it. But anyway, the first one I got is only because it's a 25-cent Dynamite introductory price. I figured, why the heck not? I'll spend a quarter on some Red Sonja. I actually read Red Sonja. Oh, look at that. Nice collection of covers. Matter of fact, I think it was this stuff of Red Sonja I read. It was around like 2005 or so. The Women of Dynamite. So I think there's sketches back here. Oop, there's more cover ads. So I haven't read Red Sonja in years and years and years. I always found it kind of middle-of-the-road comics. Nothing terrible, nothing great. Usually has some really nice covers, though. I think the Dynamite issues I have from whenever the heck they are have some nice covers on them. Of course, they all have multiple covers, but I only got whichever one was there. But this is the first thing. Oh, and I also, thanks to Sleepy Reader, tweeting that his comic shop didn't get the new Corbin comic in, I realized there was a new Corbin comic. I had no idea. Richard Corbin comics are an automatic buy for me, but I didn't know one was coming out this week, and my shop didn't have it, so they reordered it for me and are putting it on my pull list. I think, what is it? Shadows on the Grave? It's a Dark Horse comic. I just, didn't realize there was Corbin coming out, so I didn't put it on my list, but I should be getting that one in the next couple of weeks. But meanwhile, I'll have Red Sonja. And look at this. It's finally out. George Perez's Sirens. Issue 6 of 6. And I looked up when I saw this was coming out this week. Is this a wraparound? Oh, it's a wraparound. Hold on. Let's get that unwrapped. Very cool. When I saw this was coming out this week, I looked up, and the issue 5 came out in May of this year. A long time ago. And that one was... Then I looked up when issue 1 came out, and I believe it was over 2 years ago in 2014. I think it came out in like early fall 2014. So it's taken them quite a while to get these 6 issues out, but I'm okay with that. I'm not going to tell you this is the best comic of all time, but I'm enjoying it only because it's George Perez, and George Perez is one of my favorites. I've always liked his stuff. But since I haven't bought much Marvel and DC in years, he's one of those guys whose work I kind of never get to really follow, because I never read his Wonder Woman, just doesn't interest me. Never read his Avengers that he did with Kurt Busiek was the last thing I read by George Perez, I think. And I actually enjoyed that. I read some of it. I have some of it in collected edition. But like I said, it was never on my usual buy list, just because Marvel and DC usually isn't. So I was just happy reading some George Perez stuff, even if it's not the greatest George Perez stuff ever. But if you're interested in something that's kind of different in George Perez, give this a look. And Drifter is back with issue number 15. Ivan Brandon and Nick Klein. I can't remember where this left off with sort of a big smoking mess. Oh, there's our big smoking mess. It's been on hiatus for a little while. I enjoy this. I enjoy Drifter a lot. It's not for everyone. It's this weird, moody, sci-fi poem almost. All these people stuck together in a weird place with weird aliens and just trying to live their lives as no one really knows what's going on, and no one really wants to ask questions, and everything came to a head in the last story arc between the aliens and the humans, and the aliens are kind of, their motives are a bit impenetrable. Like I said, I've just been enjoying. There was even like an opening mystery in issue 1 of why this guy crash landed on this planet when he thought he died, and something like that. And we don't even have the answer to that mystery yet. And there's all sorts of. This book is just weird and mysterious and poetic. So if you like any of those things, give Drifter a read. And here we have Hillbilly, the fiddle that screamed for blood. This is issue number 4. by Eric Powell. I gotta say, so far of the 3 issues of Hillbilly, issue number 3 was my favorite. It was just they're all kind of like done in one stories, but these hillbilly, but there's kind of an overall arcing story with this hillbilly character on his way to I can't even remember what now. Look for some, and then each individual issue is about what happened. There's a little story about little characters they meet along the way. And last issue it was a witch and a giant cougar and some sort of strange little kid. And it was just like I said, issue 3. If you're only going to read one issue of Hillbilly, just pick up issue 3 and read it because it was really, really good. 1 and 2 are very well worth reading too. But I got to say, issue 3 was my favorite out of the 3 so far, and I'm looking forward to issue number 4. Oh, look, if we can get some Goon custom. I guess these custom comic boxes are all the rage now. There we go. The telephone is ringing. See, that's why I always do these things in parts, even though I don't really edit anything, just in case something interrupts me in between comics. But anyway, here is Terry Moore's Motor Girl, issue number 2. There she is with the gorilla and the little aliens. And I know this issue 1 didn't grab some people who read it, and I was like, huh? I loved issue 1. I thought issue 1 was great. But I look forward to issue 2. And I'd heard this is going to be a shorter series than Rachel Rising or Echo. I don't know, but like I said, I've only heard a couple people on Twitter or YouTube mentioned it, but I haven't seen anything official from Terry Moore or whatever. But like I said, I really enjoyed the first issue. It's about this woman right here, our motor girl, who is suffering from PTSD and lives in this, I guess it's a desert, where she runs this junkyard, and this older woman actually owns the junkyard, and she's thinking about selling the junkyard, but she wants to get Motor Girl's opinion. No one actually calls her Motor Girl. I just can't remember her real name right now. And at the very end of the issue, these strange little aliens landed, but we don't know if they're real or not. They might be a symptom of her PTSD. So this is all up after issue. I very much liked issue 1. I found it intriguing, but everything is still up in the air after issue number 1 as to what direction this is going to be going in. Except that it's got the usual sort of Terry Moore humor and characters and character interactions. And like I said, Terry Moore's books are almost always about the characters rather than the plot. So we'll see how the characters unfold in this one, but I'm around for as long as Motor Girl is. And along with, Sirens, we've got another last issue this week, which is Britannia, issue 4 of 4. How to describe... I found Britannia very, very odd. It's tough to... It's kind of historical fiction. It's kind of fantasy. It's kind of detective story. I don't... If Britannia has a fault, it's that it doesn't seem to be one... It's tough to pin. It doesn't seem to be one... Not that I insist everything has to be in one genre or anything like that, but this one seems to be treading the edges of a few genres, so it's tough to pin down and describe. But I've enjoyed it. I just saw... once again, it was Sleepy Reader. He was saying if it has one fault, it's the coloring is dark, and I can definitely agree with him on that. They're really going. I think it's all dark on purpose. They're really going for a sort of candlelit, because a lot of this takes place at night in tents and stuff, and you can see how I think they're really going for atmosphere with the coloring and keeping it dark, but. Nonetheless, it's still dark, and sometimes things you want them to be a little clearer, though. So, I think they may have leaned a little too far towards atmosphere with the dark coloring. But anyway, I've enjoyed the book Britannia all in all, And once again, I also enjoy this format. This makes this format of nice cardstock. Makes me enjoy the book even more, so keep that in mind, comic book publishers, but we'll see if any more Britannia pops up. But for now, here's issue 4 of 4. Finally, we'll give you a little look at my background art. This is some stuff I pulled out of my drawer. I think it's from about 10 years ago. Once again, it's from before I meticulously dated everything. This is a pencil drawing of one of my Goddesses series. I can't even remember which. I think I finished this one. I finished some of them and didn't finish others. Like I said, I think I finished. I'm going to have to look it up. But see that little red dot down there? That means I sprayed my pencil drawing with a fixative and it shouldn't smear. Just a little tip for any of you who they sell stuff called fixative or workable fixative. And if you spray your pencil drawings with them, it puts like a little clear coat over it and keeps the pencil from smudging. And usually, like I said, I do that. I haven't done that in a little while. Usually I do it in batches. And like I said, but after I do it, I like to put a little red dot in the bottom to know that's one that's been fixed, as it's called. And here is, man, I think I may have made a print out of this. I think I might have on my computer I have a prints in progress folder, and that's always got 20 or 30 things in it, and sometimes they sit there for years and years and years. And this one may be sitting there because I don't remember finishing it. And if you flip on back, you can see I took one try at it and didn't like it. The lines got way too thick on me on her face there. I wanted to tone that down. So I actually just printed it out in blue line on the back again and started over until I got that. You can see there's a little bit of blue line shows through from where I changed things like that. It's a little blue line circle there, and some little blue lines when I moved the lines on her arm. But anyway, they're real light. Okay. There's 2 things for you. I think I'm done for this week. You guys have a good week out there.